I need a haircut.
Lunar core box V2. Start from the top. We need a box.
Box, yeah.
Are we changing the box?
Probably.
Like, are we gonna redo the art and such?
I don't know if we're gonna redo the art, but the box needs to be like different. It needs to be a bit thicker. Yeah.
So change thickness or plastic insert potentially.
Yeah.
Just something to give it more rigidity. Okay, rule book.
This is the current rulebook. Comes in at 61 pages, 62 if you count some of the art. I think with the changes we're going to make to this, it's probably going to be bigger by maybe 5 to 10 pages.
It's not that necessarily we're adding content, but that we're spacing content out for comprehension's sake.
One good example is like a page like this, right? It's okay, it's not the worst. If I'm being honest, it's passable. We've just gotten a lot better at layout, and I think we can do a much better job at making all of the rules way more clear.
Yeah.
When you're looking at a page like this, there's so much text, and I think we can do a lot more just breaking things up a little bit. The rules that are maybe more important, have more clarity and that kind of thing.
Also do a polishing pass. I feel like that art piece there's a better way to like do this.
Oh yeah, this looks bad. This just looks bad.
Well,
it does not look good. It's like, it doesn't look terrible, but with what we can do now, it can look so much better.
Yeah, there's a polishing pass.
There is.
For both art, layout, and editing.
Yeah, a really good example is the portraits. These portraits, I've just gotten a lot better at doing portraits. Nothing else on this page is really going to change. The rules will all be the same. We may tweak a few words here and there, but like, I just want to fix these portraits because they always bothered me.
If we do a really nice hardbound book eventually down the line, this like kind of takes us there already.
If we're going to print another few thousand of these,
yeah.
I would rather give it an update, kind of give it a bit of a fresh coat of paint, so to speak. And again, it's just like a product of experience. I don't pretend to be the best rules writer or art director, but I think at this point
you're getting better.
Well, we're just better on all aspects. So,
and it's interesting too because I wrote Lunar having not played a ton of games at the time. I played a few skirmish games pretty heavily, but I didn't have like a history of 100 games under my belt. And
honestly, same with me. Like, I had played more than you. I'm not a massive gamer. I was always more into like the painting side of things and like the hobby side. So even with me, like I just like I played. Some writers have played thousands of games. Yeah,
but at this point, it's like we've gone through this process. We've gone through Don't Look Back. We've done expansions. We've done Hametsu, Yafsiga, Demon. Like there's all these games now that I've touched and played, and I feel like there's a lot of lessons learned.
Oh yeah,
that
100%.
We need to just kind of say, oh yeah, we like that. But we gotta make it better.
The only thing we probably won't be changing is the cards. I think the cards still look pretty good. We have plenty of them out on the shelf, so...
We can write this down as cards. My vote is that we update them.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm happy to.
I say update them because...
A few moments later.
I see what you're saying. You just want to have the starter deck as like a thing.
And that just goes in the box.
Yeah. And then these are like a separate SKU.
I'd rather eat the cost on manufacturing and get a nicer looking product than eat the cost on labor and potentially have QC issues. Box, make more rigid rulebook, polishing, editing past cards. New starter deck. Minis, you've sculpted. We're gonna spin cast, so those are done. Dice.
I'm waiting for a quote from a new factory.
We got this dice from Chessex. Chessex is a pretty good manufacturer of dice. The quality, I think, is... I would say like 80 or 90%.
These are so nice.
It's not like artisan level of dice. They're very consistent and they're very clean. Now the problem is these custom dice, these two dice that would go in the box set would add $5 to the price of the box.
Oh wait, they're $2.50 each?
Yes.
Whoa. I didn't know that.
So $5 cost of just 2 dice, and that's not even the other 4 dice. That's not the cards, that's not the miniatures, that's not the books.
Significant.
I mean, that ends up being more than the books, potentially, depending on our order amounts. And we need to find a different manufacturer for the hazard dice. These dice are, I think, good. They're good quality, they're very consistent. And these 4, I think, are like less than $1. But the hazard dice, we gotta fix that.
Yeah.
We can't add $5 onto the price of a starter box set. Something I'd like to add back to the starter box, card clips. We will need fewer of them since we have like smaller, since it's only 6 units.
Right.
We'd only need 12 of them.
2 hours later.
Yeah.
But
We just need to get a plastic injection molding machine ourselves.
Yeah, box, rulebook, cards, minis, dice, card clips potentially.
Bases.
Bases. Are we just wanting to do standard black plastic bases? So bases doesn't really change. Decal sheet.
So that's something that people do request a fair amount. Our friends at Death Ray do decals, and we may be able to source them through them.
Our friends at Death Ray at Adepticon gave us a sample decal sheet.
Yeah, they just like made a LUNAR sample sheet and gave it to us, and we were like, I love this.
Classic Austin. It's
How
not
do we
like,
do this?
here's some decals. It's like, hey, here is
He like
your decals.
made the LUNAR decals.
Yeah.
They looked great. I thought they were
looked
awesome.
really-
Warlord games and stuff, when you buy like specific World War II units, will have like the decals that relate to that unit.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good touch. The price is right. I'd like to include them.
Half US, half Cosmo.
I think that'd be cool.
I think decals would be cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Polishing editing pass. Are we going to get it bound differently?
20 minutes later.
So I think it makes sense for us to make the book a little higher quality. It doesn't need to be hardback though.
From the top, is there anything we're missing? Insert?
Token sheet.
Token. That's a big one. Do people even use the tokens?
I mean, they should. We
Yeah.
put them in the box, they should. I'll like not include tokens. Well, we could put them in the book.
Something like that.
It's one of those things, if we didn't put tokens in the box, people would ask for tokens. So there has to be a solution in the box. I personally prefer to put them in the back of the book and have them on the website for free.
Yeah.
And you can print as many as you want. You can print ones that you use, you can ignore the ones you don't, right? At this point, like, tokens are such a frustrating thing to manufacture. It would cut down on cost. I don't think people would mind too much, but there is the question of like, if we're trying to get the price down, at what point that we've removed so many components that the product is not really like as good.
Right.
Later.
Do you use less tokens? Because potentially, like you mentioned, we have a ton of tokens already. Bye. Okay, so box, rulebook, cards, minis, dice, decals, potentially a plastic insert. Card clips, something that we want to add, but we're not sure if we can. The bases are staying the same, and the tokens probably will stay the same if they're included. But we are going to figure out if the tokens are actually necessary. Because that's another thing with LUNAR, is we made this concept and then you give it to the customer, and a lot of the times the customers do it differently. It's the old like memes of back-end developers and front-end users, where like the back-end developer tries to foresee all these problems and then the front-end user just immediately breaks things. We need to double check that things like tokens are actually used and liked and don't need to be made better, or if they're just redundant and people just skip them all the time. We'll see.